Kelsey began officiating back in 1989 and currently does U Sports. But the bigger thing for us is he's the chair of the Football Canada's Tackle Rules Committee and is leading the rewrite of our tackle rule book. So when it's all done, if you want to blame somebody about the rule book, he's the guy. So putting a lot of pressure on you there, Kelsey. But again, Western represented here again for us. So this is good out of Calgary. But Kelsey, you're up, buddy.
Everybody's got that? Okay. So at any rate, we'll just kind of get right into it now. So we're just going to go through the major changes first. There's a number of changes that were just more clerical in nature, and those we probably won't get to today, but that's okay. You can easily go through them with the information that's been sent out so far, and they are included in this presentation. So just wanted to start off with just a minor change, and that's in the clothesline play area. Just go to the next slide. There we go. So the clothesline play area just became a little bit larger. We just included now the tight ends in the clothesline play area, so that that just brings to consistency when we talk about the blocking below the waist zone. So it just widened to the tight end. So when the tight end isn't there, it is essentially the split that is between the other lineman and another player. So it's widened on each side that much. So that's just quickly on that. No big deal. 2 yards ahead of the line of scrimmage, 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Go ahead to the next slide. This one I thought was pretty important. Rule 1, Section 8, Article 1. This is when a player goes to a knee catching a punt or a kick, they are no longer allowed to get up. For many years, they've been able to catch the ball and get up and continue on in the play. They are no longer allowed to do that. So as soon as that knee touches down, they're dead. This is consistent with many other things in the book. If a player goes down running down the field and they touch a knee, they are down. So you see Ed asking about a punter catching a low snap. So same scenario as with the holder. If they have to go down to get it, with a in the situation of a holder, if they have to go get the ball, and they can come back and put it down. If the punter goes down to get it, I can't see a whole bunch of situations they're going to put their knee down, but they can get it and then kick the ball. This is something, guys, I strongly encourage you to mention this in the pregame meetings with the coaches, because this is different and this is going to be a problem. It's just going to be some hollering from the field, so from the sideline. So let's just bring that up along the way. Next slide.
Kelsey, sorry to interject. Yeah. Excuse me. So a snap from center. If a quarterback goes to one knee or both knees to field that snap, what are we doing?
Well, you know what, you're going to have to, you're right. I hadn't even considered the punter before. I'd only considered the holder. But yeah, you're right. If a punter goes to a knee or a quarterback goes to a knee to field the ball, they are dead. They are down.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Absolutely. Sorry. I'd never really considered past the holder. So you caught me off guard there. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Thanks, Kelsey.
You bet. Okay. So blocking below the waist. So a little change this year. Again, it's the all the blocks as Daryl mentioned before, block below the waist, above the knee, that occur inside the blocking below the waist area. So if we just go to the next slide, so again, we've got now we've got the blocking below the waist area there. We've got the width outside the tight ends, and we've got behind right behind the quarterbacks and running backs there. And so if you are in that area and you block below the waist, above the knee, and you were in that area to start at the snap, and if you came from outside, you'd come in and had come to a full stop prior to the snap, you are then allowed to block below the waist, above the knee. So let's just watch a couple of plays here. Just have to hit click there, I think. Okay. So just watch our friend right there. You see, he cuts very well, nice and low, and that is definitely below the waist, below the knees. And so that is without question a block below the waist. This play, got your wide out coming across. He turns up under, and you can see there he attempts to block him below the waist, but he doesn't. And the next film, this shows it a whole bunch better here. See him coming into the play, number 12, 21, down blocks him, jumps out of the way. So there's no blocking below the waist there. All right, and on this play, we're going to have the tight end essentially come across, and he's going to, this is the same picture Daryl showed earlier. Again, you watch it much better here. You can see contact is made below the waist but above the knee, so that's a really good block. All right, so I'm just trying to give you some examples that you can take back, that everybody can take back to their membership, to give ideas about what is and what is not a block below the waist. So if we can just go on from there. Okay, Kyle, I'm going to need the screen. I'm going to need to show my face for the horse collar presentation.
Chelsea, just a quick question on that. Yep. Below the waist. So yes. As long as if it's below the waist but in between the knees, that style of block is fine. It's if it's below the waist and the knees, that's an immediate flag.
If it is below the waist and above the knee, it's a legal block. So that illegal. So basically where you're hitting him at the thigh level. So again, above the knee and below the waist, that is a legal block. Anything from the knee and below is not legal.
Now, what if you're in that BBW zone? Is below the knee fine as well?
No. In the blocking below the waist zone, the only block below the waist that is legal is one that is above the knee. So anything below the knee anywhere on the field is illegal, cannot be done.
So then I guess my real question is why is it that we've now set up this BBW zone if an illegal block can happen, if it's below the knee, then it's illegal no matter where you're on the field. So I guess I'm trying to figure out why that BBW zone was then set up.
So that
no matter where you were.
So that you can block below the waist but above the knee. So you can make that contact in the thigh area.
So anywhere else on the field, if it's below the waist, then it's illegal.
Correct.
Okay.
The only place you can block below the waist is in the blocking below the waist area.
And that's it. At any point in time after the snap, like no, as long as you're within the zone.
That's any time.
Even after the ball carrier, whatever, has crossed the line of scrimmage, you're still free within that zone to hit below the waist and in between the knees.
You probably can get a UR penalty, but the zone is still there. You know, if the ball carrier is gone, you probably get gotten for UR then, right?
So see how that's kind of a gray zone, because technically you can still do a BBW block as long as you're in that zone. But if the ball is clearly away from that zone past the line of scrimmage, then where's the kind of determination of whether it's safe as a BBW block and still within that zone, and then going into that area?
Scott, a good question to ask yourself if that happens like that is was that contact necessary away from the play, right? If it's not necessary, that's where your unnecessary roughness comes in, right?
That's kind of as a rookie official to me, kind of how do you determine whether it's safe or not?
Well, the thing is, if the ball's if the ball's 10 yards down the field, and somebody goes after somebody's knee, that's UR at a minimum. So can they technically legally block below the waist there? Yes, yes they can, but a whole bunch of other things are going to come into play at that point.
Okay.
Thanks, Kelsey. It's Nigel here. Just some of the stuff, Scott. You'll just have to wait until you get on the field and get some experience, because some of the stuff, it's not black and white. Just comes with experience. You'll see what's going on. But we need to keep the conversation moving for Kelsey here.
Can everybody see my screen now? Yeah.
Yeah.
So horse collars. We've made some changes with the horse collars, and basically the way it works now is if you get your hand into the collar of the jersey or the collar of the shoulder pad, that is a horse collar. All right. So if you're running down the field and you get your hand in here, the flag's coming out. If you get your hand in here, the flag's coming out. Okay, so no longer do you have to change their direction when you're getting the hand inside the collar of the jersey or the shoulder pad. As soon as you see the hand go in there, the hand's in there. Remember, they're being taught to tackle lower than the shoulders. So when you get a hand in there, that's automatically a foul. Now, the thing that goes back to what we've been doing prior to now is if the block is above the numbers in the back, between the shoulders in the back, and that is where you still have to have a change in direction. But remember, changing direction, stopping is a change in direction. So if you bring a guy down by like this, that's going to be a foul as well, because you've stopped him from going forward. So again, just keep that in mind, that from behind, it is still in the nameplate area between the shoulders, but everywhere else, it is the collar of the jersey or the collar of the shoulder pad. Does that make good sense? We just got one quick film on this too. If you can roll that, Kyle. You just watch our friend here, the tailback here. It's going to come outside here and catch a screen. Watch him come in here, hand in the back. See, he had his hand in the back, and pulled him over with it. That hand's right in the collar. You see the jersey pull away, that's right in the collar. That is a horse collar tackle. Okay, so now if I can just get the video, get my face back, I'm going to talk a little bit about hands to the face. This is the last kind of demo. We've got a good looking Football Canada helmet here. So basically on hands to the face, the key here is that it's a forceful and prolonged pressure on the head. So if you bounce your hand down low and then up and off, that's not hands to the face. Okay, so if he punches and hits your player in the chest, and that bounces up into the face mask and he takes his hand away, that's not hands to the face. Okay. It's if he makes contact and then prolonged forceful contact with the face. So for prolonged is absolutely key. And obviously there's got to be some force to it, but just that prolonged nature of it. Just a quick glances are going to happen. Okay. So that is okay, but we have to make sure when they're taking a player's head and moving it like this or like that, any direction, we can't have that. So if we can just go on to the next slide there, Kyle. Then we don't have to go back to me again, Kyle, so that this is easy. Okay, so this is the hands to the face area. So you cannot hit a player within the box there. So no player of either team can forcibly thrust their hand above the frame to contact the neck, face, head, or face mask. Okay. So and just like it says here, initial contact to the chest, but the hands right up. That is okay, provided the contact is not prolonged and isn't is a glancing blow. It's not a forcible drive your head back kind of blow. Go ahead. Okay, so just watch these clips here. This one here, this is not a hands to the face. You can see there, there's a hand there. There is no force to it. The player's head never moves. This scenario, this is hands to the face. You can see he drives up and forcibly moves the player's head. So that is a hands to the face. And this one here, you watch over on the left-hand side there. 56's head is pushed back and held there for a considerable time. That is hands to the face. I just want to go through can we just go through these again, Kyle, and just stop after the first one? Okay, if you can just stop it right there. Okay, so he's got his hand is in the face area. Okay, he does make it directly, but it is not forcible. So that is not a hands to the face penalty. All right, he makes contact, but it's not forcible. Go to the next one. And this next one I screwed up in the last time I talked to you guys just a second ago. So just stop it. Just keep going. Okay, so he does make that is the perfect stop there. So that's actually the perfect example of that. Also is not a hands to the face, because he does make a quick glancing blow. He hits him. He realizes it. He pulls his hand back. Whether he realized it or not doesn't matter, but it was just a quick touch up to the face mask and back. So that is not hands to the face. And go on to the next one. This next one, we finally get some film from the east side of the country. Watch 56 there. The defensive player has his hand right up in his face. You can see his head's back all the way. That is forceful and prolonged. So that absolutely is hands to the face. All right. Okay. Should I be checking the chat here? Is that what we want to do? Okay, hang on. This is a good one.
You can check the chat, Kelsey, or we can read off.
I'm checking it. Yeah, right. That's right. So if and this is from Matt Spetter in Edmonton. If you've got a ball carrier, coming down the field, and he uses his hand to forcibly hit a straight arm a player in the face mask, you're going to that is absolutely a foul. Forcible, trying to ward off attack, make contact with face mask. It doesn't automate. Just touching their face mask or the helmet does not constitute a foul. It needs to be forcible, and it needs to be prolonged. So if it's either one of those, so you can have your hand and push the guy away and have your hand on the face mask the whole time and be pushing him back. That can be prolonged. Or you can punch him once and knock him on his butt. That is absolutely a hands to the face as well. I would, this is from Rob Riley. If one official calls hands to the face and two others see it as not, should the flag be enforced or picked up? That is a play-by-play situation. There's no black and white there. Unless if I've thrown hands to the face, I will never let you're never going to talk me out of it. And I guess if you reached for your flag and you knew it was hands to the face, then I wouldn't suggest you giving up that foul. But that's a case by case scenario. Okay, let's player in defenseless posture. So this is just a clarification, and I put this in here because of what it does for the next blindside rule. So this is just in section 7, rule 7, section 3, article 16, with player in defenseless posture, and we all know there's a number of places there. So if a player who receives a block when the blocker is moving toward or parallel to their own end line and approaches the opponent from behind or from the side. This was just making everything consistent with the next slide, if you can go there, Kyle. And a blindside block. It shall be illegal for any player to deliver a forcible block on an opponent while moving back towards or parallel to their own deadline anywhere on the field. I was just making sure those two things met up with each other. And so the blindside block is obviously something we've been pushing on quite a bit the last couple of years, and I think we've got it in a good place now. We've got a good example here on the next video. Okay, and okay, you can watch the okay, it's quite a ways down the field here. I should have shortened some of these up, but that's okay. If you watch, there's a Calgary player just coming across the horse right now. Okay, no, it's not him. The guy coming across the horse right now, just up coming across the hash. Keep your eyes on him. He's going to cut in. That guy never saw him in a million years. That is absolutely a blindside block. We've got to have a flag on that play. So just show it from there. That's it. You can see that he is going back towards his own goal, dead ball line. He's cutting back, where at worst he's parallel to it, and he hits that player directly in the side, and down he goes. That is a blindside block. Okay, we can just go on to the next slide. Crackback block. So this is more of just a discussion about where you are positioned, 3 or more yards outside of the blocking below the waist area at the snap. Or if the player is stationed initially 3 or more yards outside the blocking below the waist area and moves towards the ball so that the A player is less than 3 yards from the blocking below the waist area at the snap of the ball. These are all what is illegal. Or the A player is stationed initially 3 yards from the blocking below the waist area, and either before or after the snap of the ball moves more than 3 yards from the blocking below the waist area and then returns to less than, the back and forth, or moves in the direction of the ball to make the block. Note if a team A player moves into the blocking below the waist area prior to the snap and comes to a complete stop prior to the snap, the player shall not be penalized for a crackback. So again, if you come into that blocking below the waist area and come to a complete stop prior to the snap, you are then considered in the area, and you can block a crackback or below the waist, etc. Murray.
Kelsey, can you give me clarification on this, please? Or maybe even Walter can help out. You have a wide receiver or a slot back who is stationed on the right side of the line of scrimmage. He starts and goes in motion, goes across the formation, past the center, and then blocks the defensive end on the backside below the waist. Is that a crackback?
He never stopped within the zone.
Never stopped within the zone. He's gone
but he's crossed past the ball.
He's gone past the ball. They've done a chip block on the defensive end on the backside. They've allowed him to go through, and that receiver takes him out low. Is that a crackback or not?
Want me to answer there, Kelsey?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. So you sure? Yeah, go ahead.
As per rules, that is not a crackback. But if he was outside and did not come in before the snap and stop, that's a block below the waist.
Perfect, Walter. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay. We'll have this discussion in another venue when it gets closer to the fall. Okay.
Well, I think the fact that he doesn't have position inside the blocking below the waist area, regardless of where his position is in regards to the ball, it doesn't matter anymore. If he doesn't have that position inside the blocking below the waist area, he can't block him below the waist except above the knees.
I realized that after I started asking my question that it's a U Sport question, not an amateur question.
Don't worry, U Sport doesn't apply.
My apologies.
Perfect. If you just go to the next clip, please. Next slide. So just want to give you kind of an overlay here. Here's the clothesline play area. We looked at it before. So again, just outside the tight end. So go to the next slide. This is just kind of showing you. So now we've got an illegal crackback zone, which is the width of the field from 5 yards ahead of the ball all the way back to the dead ball line. And now go to the next slide. So now we're showing everything we have in here. And so we also have the blocking below the waist zone here. So if we're coming from outside, outside of the blocking below the waist zone, we have to come to a position, a stationary position within the zone in order to be able to block below the waist. Same for a crackback, but then so actually this is actually a good time for actually we can go to that video now. That's just as well, because what I tried to do here, and it's not quite straight. You just have to imagine that it's we're right behind the film. Daryl had a much better picture of a blocking below the waist area. So so again, we've got we've got the tight end looked after. We've got behind the running back. So this is the area we're looking for. So if a block occurs below the waist here, it can be above the knee. So just quick. So every scenario of a block below the waist has to be above the knees. So there is no situation that you can block below the knees, period. So whenever I say block below the waist, it is a block below the waist above the knees. So just let the film roll. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Kelsey, you're down to about 4 minutes there, buddy.
Oh, crap.
We can go a little bit longer, but just so you know.
Okay. All right. Well, just quickly watch 87 here. So 87 obviously isn't in the zone at the snap. He comes in and cracks on him on the defensive player. So that is absolutely a crackback block. All right. So what we'll do, I'm just going to quickly see. Okay, let's just watch this play real quick here. Watch the receiver here. Okay, so he starts from outside the zone, and actually he runs into him right square in the back. So that is that can obviously be a crackback, but it can also be it is also a block from the rear. So that's a 15-yard block from the rear. Then let me just see here. That's 21 and 22. Okay, blocking from the rear. Again, okay, this is important. Blocking from the rear, this when it occurs in the clothesline play area. So a player who's positioned in the area when the ball is snapped can block a player from the rear above the waist. So what happens is when the defensive lineman's coming through, very often the offensive and defensive linemen come together, and as the defensive lineman goes by, the offensive lineman pushes him in the back as he's going by, is typically how this happens. So that is now illegal to do within the clothesline play area. So it's a really messy block that's going to be hard to disseminate anyways. So that is now legal. Go to the next slide. Just skip past this one. We know what this is. Okay, this is also important, guys. Player out of bounds. So we made a change this year so that if a receiver of a punt touches out of bounds as he's receiving the punt, he is dead at that point. For the 2020 season, it was allowable that he could, if he caught the ball in its original trajectory and he'd stepped on the out of bounds, we let him continue on in the play. But that kind of contradicts everything that the rest of the book has on when you touch out of bounds. So if he touches out of bounds, even if it's on its original trajectory, he is dead at that spot. Next slide. Okay, legal contact with an eligible receiver when it's obvious passing situation. So team B player may not create or initiate contact that redirects, restricts, or impedes team A receiver in any way. So basically all that this says is that the no contact is allowed. That's really nothing terribly new. That's not the slide I was thinking. Go to the next slide. Okay, illegal interference. So, this is very important. If a pass receiver who would normally be considered eligible either by number or by reporting into the referee is made ineligible by position, and the defensive team interferes with that receiver's attempt to catch the ball on a forward pass, both teams are subject to penalty. So, whether the team A player touched the ball and attempt to catch or not, the foul for team A and eligible receiver will be deemed to be the first foul for the purpose of adjudicating the dual foul. Let's go to the next slide, just a visual on this. So you've got the inside receiver here is cut off by the outside receiver. So now he's ineligible by position. So we should have a flag immediately at the snap. And then if he gets interfered with, he's the primary, he's the receiver that's going to get the ball. He's interfered with. We've got both an ineligible receiver and pass interference, and it's adjudicated with the ineligible receiver first.
Oh, it's not automatic at the snap. It's not an illegal formation.
Excuse me?
It is not an illegal formation. Therefore, there should be no flag at the snap.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, you're absolutely right. You've got two flags. When he's thrown to, it's a flag, and when and then the PI as well. So you're absolutely right there. Yep. So I'll change that. I'll change that note. Okay, so this we'll just call it good at after this one here. So prior to a forward pass being thrown across the line of scrimmage, Team A players cannot initiate contact with or block Team B players more than a yard in advance of the line of scrimmage. So this is where your linemen are getting downfield. So if you just go to the video here, the next slide there. Okay, watch 64 here. So he just chips off that man, starts to head up field. So he's got, when he gets the linebacker there, the ball's still in the quarterback's hands. He's obviously well engaged with the linebacker. So this is all the offensive linemen are taught to get to the second level as quickly as they can in passing situations. We've got to just be mindful of that. Prior to the ball being thrown, they can't be down there blocking the defensive players. And that then actually I'll just go to the last slide I wanted to show anyways. This was just a change that for misleading tactics, and this is when the quarterback assumes a stance under center. If he comes out, if he needs to bring his hands out to call a play, call timeout, or go back in shotgun, if he just withdraws his hands slowly, doesn't make a big jerking motion to pull himself out of there trying to draw and this is going to be your judgment whether he's trying to draw the defense offside or not. If he just draws his hands out nice and easy, calls timeout or calls his cadence or backs up into a shotgun, you will not be penalized for misleading tactics there. And we'll just, as Nigel said, we're running out of time. So the rest of the presentation is just on some of the clarifications that have been made in the rule book. So we won't worry about those right now. You can find those on any of your on the information that was sent out to the associations when the changes were made. One thing I'll ask you all to if you saw, certainly during Daryl's presentation, Luke Garon from the APFQ was putting some notes up about there are some rules presentations on the CFOA ref.com site that that go over different rules. These were put up last year, so we'll be changing some of them as needed, but they're a good resource to have a look at if you're looking to improve your rules knowledge for sure. So
yeah, Kelsey,
yep.
Are you good with me sharing this presentation out via our website?
Yeah, let me just I've just got a couple of changes to make to it, and then I will get it to you to you for sure.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks, Sir Kelsey. Really appreciate this. Again, it's one of those things, just trying to get everybody with this whole conference series starting to think football, being positive that hopefully we'll have football by the summer. And then I'm sure everybody will be reaching out to you again as we get closer to the season. And if there's any questions or challenges that we may have that come up with these new rules, I'm sure they'll be reaching out to you. Barry, if you want to jump in here now. And again, thanks there, Kelsey.
Kelsey, I threw you a message there in chat there if you would like to comment on that. It's a question about this year's exam.
Series exam
is basically, there's a question about the 2021 CFOA exam. If there's anything you want to comment on really quickly, and if you have any other announcements to make.
Yes. Okay. So the 2021 CFOA exam is we're just getting it finished up right now. We hope to have it out by June 1st, and again, it will be will go out through class marker like it did last year, and so I'll be reaching out to each of the associations and asking for I'll go to the contacts I had last year. Provided they're still in play, I'll just go to them and we'll set up a link for your association. Again, we can put some, we can customize it a little bit as far as when you want the exam to be returned, and also who sees the marks. If they just go to your referee in chief or your president or whoever, or exactly how that's done, but I can lay that all out at that time. So look for early June. We'll be sending out the exam. There will be video questions. There will be multiple choice questions, and then the traditional true and false questions. Also, one other thing I need to bring up is that there was an opening on the rules committee for a member of the CFOA, Ron Paluzzi. His term had expired from the APFQ, and so we thank Ron for all his service for many years. Ron's been a stalwart within the CFOA for many years, and we thank him for that and wish him well on his retirement from his real job. So, and getting the cottage ready to go. So, but his replacement on the rules committee representing the CFOA will be Al Gates out of New Brunswick. And Al, I've had the opportunity to work with Al the last couple of years on the with the exam committee and with rewriting the rule book, and just a fantastic gentleman, somebody that we can will be a huge asset to the rules committee. So welcome aboard, Al.
Okay.
I just want to clarify something here, Carrie. It's yeah, the flag at the snap was my mistake, and I'll be fixing that on the presentation. It's not a flag until the ball's thrown to him, and if it's a running play, it's a running play. So that's my mistake. I'll get that fixed.
Okay, just a comment about the appointment of Al Gates. We had a lot of people, I'm told, I wasn't part of the selection committee on this, and it was a really tough decision. Thanks to all those who have had applied for the position. You know, at the end of the day, sometimes it's a really hard decision to make. So congrats to all who, and don't, continue to volunteer for this stuff when it comes up, or put your name forward. I want to, as we wrap this up here really quickly, I want to thank all our presenters over the last 4 weeks. Without them, we couldn't have made this a success as it is. I want to thank the CFOA, the CFL, everyone for their input. I want to thank you guys especially, and gals, for giving up your last 4 weekends to spend an hour and a half looking at Nigel pick his nose. No, just kidding. Thanks to everyone. I have nothing else. Nigel, if you want to wrap it up, or Henry or anyone else wants to chime in for the next minute or so before we...
No, I'm good here. I'm good. Let Henry have the last word.
No, I just want to once again thank everybody, especially our executive who worked very hard with our 2 co-chairs. Let's give a round of applause to Barry and Nigel for their hard work of putting this together. And of course, Kyle, our technical person, and put everything online. And don't forget too, we've been holding a 4-week level 1 virtual clinic as well. Hopefully some of those new recruits, once they completed their clinic today, Frank White will be getting in touch with you and letting you know that these people have passed their level 1. More news to come, more work to be done behind the scenes. So stay with it, and thank you, and stay safe.